So here I am with a story about a furry animal. Let's see if you can guess what animal it is. I'll start by giving you some adjectives. Remember, adjectives are things that describe, words that describe. So the first adjective I'm going to tell you is that the animal is small. Okay, start picturing small animals in your head. All right, this animal is small and it lives in the woods, or it could even live in your backyard. All right, so start thinking about some animals you might have seen in your backyard that aren't real big. We're not talking about a gorilla or a bear or a giraffe or anything like that. Little animal. Okay, this animal can climb trees. All right, so picture in your head, it's a little animal, lives in your backyard, and it can climb trees. So if you were thinking of a rabbit, can a rabbit climb trees? Nope. What other animal might be in your backyard? You might see a mouse in your backyard. Can a mouse climb trees? I think they can, but they don't live in the trees. This animal lives in the trees. Okay, this animal eats nuts and plants, and it has a bushy tail. Are you getting it yet? And it can either be brown or gray. The ones in my backyard are gray. Think it's a cat? Cats can climb trees. Cats aren't real big. Do cats eat nuts? I don't think so. Do cats have bushy tails? Not usually. All right, anybody guessed it yet? It begins with the letter S. S-Q-U. If you guessed a squirrel, you're right. Could have been maybe a chipmunk, but chipmunks aren't gray. Chipmunks are only brown, and they have stripes, and I would have said that. But we're talking about squirrels. Now, this squirrel in the book looks a little bit red. And the title of the book is Squirrels, and it's by Brian Wildsmith. This is a very old book that I've had for a long time, but I kind of like the pictures. Okay, so this squirrel looks kind of red, but I think he's supposed to be a brown squirrel, but in the book he's a little bit reddish. See his cute face? It's easy to recognize a squirrel. He's a furry, small animal with a long, bushy tail, 2 strong back legs, and 2 short front legs, 2 large tufted ears, see the ears, which stick up, and 2 big front teeth. He looks happy and mischievous. So that's what a squirrel looks like. Kind of looks like a bunny rabbit there, doesn't he? In summertime, the squirrel's coat is quite thin, but in wintertime, it grows thick and strong. He seems to have little socks on his feet and warm fur gloves on his front paws. So he gets thicker fur in the winter because in the winter it starts to get cold. And the squirrel needs better protection. Look how cute he is. What season do you think it is there with all the colored leaves? I think it's fall. Squirrels live in trees. Sometimes their home is a hole in an old tree trunk. Sometimes it's high up in the tree in an abandoned crow's nest. In my neighborhood, they make their nests up in the trees, and they make them of leaves. There's the squirrel. The squirrels build beautiful homes for themselves in the treetops. They are called drays. So a squirrel lives in a dray. A dray has 2 rooms, one of which is like a nursery for the young squirrels. Okay, so there's one like a living room and one like a nursery. Their sharp claws give them a strong hold on the trunk of a tree so that they can scamper both up and down with great speed. Okay, so I've seen squirrels go down the trees face first, go up the trees, jump from tree to tree. They have strong legs and they have sharp claws. See them up in the tree? How cute. Probably no animal in the world uses its tail for so many different purposes. When a squirrel leaps through the air from tree to tree, he can use his tail like a parachute, and it even helps him to change directions. So his tail is like a little mini parachute. Look at the squirrel. I didn't know they go in the water. Here's one in the water over here too. And when a squirrel swims, as he does sometimes, he can use his tail as a sail. So he sticks his tail up like a sail. I didn't know that. When he scurries along the bough of a tree, he can use it to balance and guide himself. Kind of like when you walk and you need to balance, you stick your arms out. Well, that's how he uses his tail, to help him balance. Oh, look what he's using it for here. I wish I had a big bushy tail to use as a blanket. And when a squirrel sleeps, he wraps his tail around himself like a blanket. I wish I had a big bushy tail. That'd be cool. Twice a year, in the spring and at the end of the summer, the female squirrels have their babies, usually 3 or 4 babies at a time. For 7 weeks, the mother gives them milk. Then they're ready for a squirrel's favorite food: nuts, acorns, wheat, and fruit. So squirrels are mammals like you and me, and they drink their mother's milk. That's what mammals do. Oh, look how cute that squirrel's face is. Isn't that cute? Sometimes squirrels will steal birds' eggs, and they're very fond of mushrooms. Okay, they like to eat eggs from a bird's nest, and they like to eat mushrooms. I like to eat eggs and mushrooms too. Oh, that's a pretty picture, isn't it? In the last weeks of autumn, another name for fall, squirrels become very busy gathering nuts and acorns to eat during the winter. Then they carry them in their cheek pouches and hide them in all kinds of nooks and holes round about the trees where they live. Okay, sometimes if you look out the window, you can see them running around and collecting things that they're going to save to eat for the winter because they can't find food in the winter. Later on, oh, I like that picture. Later on, they come back to look for them, but quite often they forget where they have hidden their stores and dig in several places before they find them. So they dig a hole and then they have to come back and find it, kind of like buried treasure. Squirrels are delightful little creatures, but they can be destructive. In a garden, they like to pull up new plants, eat the bulbs, and even bite the tops off of very young trees. So some people don't like squirrels in their garden. Next time you walk in the woods, if you are quiet and observant, you will perhaps see squirrels, contented and busy. They might be jumping from tree to tree, frolicking on the trunk and boughs, or possibly hiding a store of nuts for the winter. All right, so squirrels are very interesting creatures. And what did we say they were? Just like you and me, they're mammals. Squirrels are mammals. They have a backbone. They have fur or hair. They're warm-blooded. That's why they wrap themselves in their tail, to stay warm. They're warm-blooded. And they give their babies milk. So they're mammals. All right, so I want you to look out your window sometimes, or when you're going for a walk, see if you see any squirrels. But don't try and play with them because they'll bite you. Bye.